Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Next in Gaming, a bi-weekly show where we interview opinion leaders from the gaming industry for better insight on how you can improve your stream, grow your audience, and more. My name is Randy, and I'll be your host for today's show. To run today's show, I'm using Restream Studio. Restream Studio is an all-in-one solution for your live streams. It's my favorite and easiest way to go live, with the ability to add guests, change scenes, and much more, all of which you'll see during today's show. If you'd like to learn more, head to restream.io/studio. Today, our guest is Andrew Wall, also known as AWOL. He is a former social media executive that now coaches gaming content creators to success. He co-founded the #1 gaming creator network of all time, TGN, that generates billions of views per month on YouTube and is now a publicly traded company. Andrew was one of the early Twitch partners in 2011 and has grown multiple gaming channels from scratch, achieving silver and gold play buttons along the way. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Hello, Andrew.
Hey, everybody. Great to be on the stream today. How you doing?
We do have the chat open. You should be able to see that on your end. So we can see all the comments coming in from YouTube and Facebook. If you guys want to answer that and reply and kind of get into the conversation, you can. Let us know how you're doing, where you're joining from, all that kind of jazz. And any questions that you ask in chat, we'll circle back to near the end of today's show after all the questions and the whole interview and that. So, Andrew, before we jump into those questions that I've pre-written here, I'd love to get your elevator pitch for you, if you will. So, kind of your short, who you are, what you do, and why.
Got it. You got it. So, as you mentioned a moment ago, I come from the media and sort of executive world when it comes to social media. I've always been that audiovisual tech nerd guy that was running the tech team, always knew more about cameras, audio, and video than everybody else. And in college, I was skipping class, playing video games, and making content on the internet in the mid-2000s. And so once YouTube happened and once Twitch happened, I immediately jumped on board super early, and I became a full-time Twitch streamer in 2011 and a YouTuber in 2009. And I had an opportunity to go begin a startup for this new concept. It was called a gaming hub channel. Get this, it was a brand new idea nobody had done before. Multiple gaming content creators were going to be on the same YouTube channel, making content together, and we were going to help each other grow. So we were the first people to ever do it in the early days with Machinima. Long story short, it ended up taking off. I grew multiple YouTube channels with that company, from Minecraft, World of Warcraft, Heroes of the Storm, Overwatch, to hundreds of thousands and millions of subscribers on YouTube, which was so fun. I built a team of 45 gaming content creators that were our social media managers and our on-screen talent and our editors. And over the last 10 years, I've basically dedicated my entire life to helping gaming content creators go full time and to succeed. And so I've seen every scenario there is. People that want to stream for a living, people that want to do edited content, people that just want to be a professional in the space. And I've coached people on their careers and how they can achieve their dreams and their aspirations. And so now I finally decided to quit being a corpo and being an executive behind the scenes and to finally be out there publicly, providing my advice on daily live streams on my YouTube channel and coaching people one-on-one. Because I think that the kind of knowledge that I have shouldn't just be in the boardroom. It should be public information. It should be public knowledge. And so that's my mission right now, helping gaming content creators go full time, or at least make significant side hustle income doing what they love. And the last thing is, like, in this new world we have with COVID and the world changing so quickly, everything going work from home rapidly, I saw this as being the best possible time to break out and to help people that are now forced to work from home in some cases, or now have the opportunity to work from home and maybe on the side do that gaming stream, create that gaming content so they can do what they love each and every day and actually put together enough money to actually make it happen. And so that's what I do. That's me. I'm AWOL.
And it's honestly, it's a really noble goal to help content creators. And that's kind of why I thought you'd be the perfect first guest for this show, because that's what this show is about. This show is about gaming content creators, helping you, run a better show, helping you learn about the industry that you are a part of as soon as you become a gaming streamer, and kind of use that all to your advantage. I was going to jump right into questions, but I see that we have a lively chat. So it would be bad of me not to say hello to a couple people who are here. So hello, Stan and K, Grace Duffy, Lil Piano, Lawson, Expert Man. Thanks so much for joining us all today. Glad you're enjoying the graphics. And like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the chat. You kind of went into this already a little bit in your intro, but I want to know, what made you get into live streaming? What was that kind of the day where you decided, you know what, I'm done with this corporate life, I'm going to get into live streaming? And like, how did that go? And how did it kind of like come together?
Yeah, I can tell you very specifically what that was like. So I was working as a technical director at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in New York. So this is where we have, like, the UN is there and the Pro Tour, and like Donald Trump would do his fundraising events. And I ran all the events there in New York at the biggest ballroom. And I would come home at night at midnight after running all those events and being the guy with the headset on, running the AV. And I would sit down on my computer every night. And this was in like 2008, 2009, 2010. And I would work for 4 hours making YouTube videos about esports games like StarCraft, StarCraft 2. And what inspired me to do that was seeing these early creators that were making esports content. And my mind was blown. I couldn't believe. And it's hard to imagine today, like, what it was like to see that for the first time, because it's normal to see esports content and gaming content get millions of views. But there were these YouTubers that were getting hundreds of thousands of views doing commentary on top of StarCraft, on top of a video game. To me, it was so inspiring to see that happen. It was like my dream come true, to have video games have relevance, to have a massive audience on the internet. It was such a incredible experience to see that happen with the early guys like Husky StarCraft and what have you, the ESL's early events. I knew I needed to be a part of that. So every night when I got home from work at midnight, I'd work for 4 hours making videos, doing my own commentary, doing commentary on top of esports stuff. I ended up doing esports broadcasting. And eventually, I ended up building up a large enough audience about Star Wars: The Old Republic, an older game that's still running today. And I became the #1 YouTuber for that game. And after I became a big YouTuber for that game, this new media startup called TGN wanted me to be the face of the network and to be the face of the brand. And a part of that was streaming full-time on Twitch, this new platform that had just it was Justin TV, it became Twitch, and they wanted somebody live on Twitch all the time, figuring out how to be a live streamer, how to make it work full time, all the technical elements of it, and just being kind of an example for the company on being a full-time streamer and having that be successful. And so that's how I became a full-time streamer. Was I grinded every single night, all night long, making content and building an audience in the early days of YouTube. And that led me into an opportunity to be one of the first 1,000 partners on Twitch to stream full-time there. It was unimaginable that this space could become what it is today, this billion-dollar-plus gaming media industry at that time. And it was just a huge risk. I took a huge pay cut. I was living in New York City in Manhattan, had to pay the bills. I just got married, and it was just a massive risk I took. A risk I do not recommend viewers taking today. Make sure you are making enough money to pay all your bills before you go full-time. I was barely making enough. My wife and I cut out every paid fun thing you can do in life to make this dream happen for me. Luckily, it ended up paying off and the space ended up growing. So that's how I got started. I was inspired by others, and then I took action. It took every free second of my time to master the craft of making content. And that's what was required to get ahead. And that kind of work ethic early got me to where I am today.
It's a great origin story to I feel like quit your career, take that big dive, especially living in New York. I can't imagine. There's a meme all over the internet on how expensive it is to live there. So to quit everything, I can't imagine the stress. So I guess it brings us perfectly into during that time when you were grinding to become the number one, and well, I guess probably not grinding to become number one, but grinding to make something of yourself. What's the biggest lesson you learned during your daily live streaming career? And I guess even now you're still streaming almost every single day.
Yeah, right now I am streaming pretty much. I'm streaming 4 days a week with Digital Drop Podcast and with AWOL Digital 2 to 4 days a week as well. And the main lesson I learned, and this is what I teach creators in coaching too, is self-awareness. So a lot of gaming creators think that they have to stream an insane quantity of hours in order to succeed in gaming live streaming. Or they think that they even have to live stream on a daily basis, or they have to stream popular games, or they have to meet these certain requirements because they see others out there, successful, Ninja, Dr. Disrespect, all the big guys doing these things in streaming, and they think I have to do that too in order to be successful. So I would encourage everybody who's thinking like that to take a step back. Success with live streaming starts with you determining what is most important to you. You determining what makes you happy. You determining what gives you energy and inspiration as a content creator first. And then starting from there and building your strategy around that. So a lot of creators, when I talk to them, they're streaming every single day. They're like, AWOL, my stream isn't growing and viewership's declining. And so the first thing I ask them is, well, are you having fun? They're like, no, I actually hate live streaming. I only want to do it once a week. So I'm like, why are you streaming every single day? You need to have self-awareness about yourself and how much you want to stream and what you want to be doing. Also, a lot of gaming content creators play games that they don't even like just because they're popular or just because they think, the numbers are there. They watch people like me tell them, buy the numbers. This game will help you grow faster. It's unsaturated. They play these games and they hate them, and they don't know why viewers don't stick around. Because you hate live streaming that game. That's why people aren't sticking around. If you're not enjoying doing the thing that you're doing live for hours, other people aren't going to enjoy watching you. And you're also going to burn out fast. And it's all about longevity in the live streaming space. It's all about being able to stream for the long term. This whole social media, this whole internet, this whole streaming thing that Restream's a part of and I'm a part of, this has got another 10 years. So you need to set yourself up to play games you love, to do things you love on your stream, to stream at a frequency that you are personally comfortable with, and ask yourself, when you're done with that stream, do I feel better about myself after I'm done streaming? Do I feel good? Did that build me up and lift me up to do that? If the answer is no, then you need to reevaluate the topic you're covering, how often you're streaming, and your overall where streaming sits in your professional life. You may just need to stream once a week, playing the thing that you love, and spend more of your time creating YouTube videos or short form social content or written content or podcasts or something else. So stop doing something that you dislike or is taking energy away from you as a streamer, because you're going to ultimately fail with that. So self-awareness is the biggest lesson I learned. And when I started streaming full-time early in those early days of Twitch, I was burnt out every day after my stream, completely worn out. I was one of the first people on Twitch, if not the first person, to dress up in a costume like Dr. Disrespect. I did nuclear explosions behind me in the graphics. I was this extreme character. AWOL, boom, sucker. I was yelling at the camera, and I had huge viewership. I was getting thousands of concurrents during that time, during game launches. And after the stream, I felt horrible because I didn't listen to myself, and I was doing everything for the audience, and I wasn't doing it for myself. And so that was the biggest lesson I learned.
While you were saying that, you mentioned how, if streaming, every single day a game that you don't like isn't doing it, streaming a game you do like, maybe less so often, and marketing yourself a bit better, actually tied perfectly into an audience question that we just got from Anya. And she asked a question for Andrew. Do you believe gaming creators in general lack marketing skills, and you need those to be successsul, right? What do you kind of think of that?
Skills, and do they need those to be successful? Yes and yes. So there's a lot to unpack there. But yes, ultimately a gaming creator is a marketer. And so a lot of people think of being a gaming creator as being a streamer, and like you need to play video games to get ahead. No. Ultimately, you need to be targeting an audience that has a specific need. You're providing value to them through a service or a product. The service is the content you're providing. And then you need to have a business model where you monetize that audience and you monetize the attention that you've attracted. That's marketing. That's marketing business 101, right? Identify a market need, provide a value and a solution, and sell that to audiences. But most gaming creators don't think about it that way, to Anya's point. They think about it in terms of, I need to get more subs. I need to get more likes. I need to get more views. I need to hit 100K or whatever it is. And they don't think about any of the other elements, like, does the market even need the content you're making? Is the content you're making servicing and providing value to the audience? Do you have any plan at all from a business marketing standpoint to make money off of this, other than hoping you're going to get Twitch subs and some sponsors are going to contact you? So yes, most gaming content creators, I'd say 99%, don't have marketing or business skills. And that's why 99% fail. And so the first question I ask people when I do coaching with them, the first thing I ask them before anything else, not anything about their videos, not about their thumbnails, not about their gear. I don't talk to them about any of that. I ask them, how much money are you making right now? And how much money do you need to make to hit your goal? And you need to answer the money question first before you can do any of those other things to go full time. And that's what a marketer thinks. That's what a marketer thinks. They think, I need to create a business here to market myself and my brand and my content in order to succeed. So that mindset's not there for creators across a wide range of ages. It's not just young people. It's my clients in their 40s and 50s as well that have never thought like a professional marketer. So it's a depth question. It's pretty spot on.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that. I find that a lot of gaming streamers, especially during, 2020 with the pandemic, being stuck at home, being home all the time, it's just really easy to be like, oh, I'm going to go live and start gaming and I'll have lots of people watching me. And then after 3-4 weeks, maybe even a couple months of just zero viewers, they're thinking, what am I doing wrong? Maybe I need to stream 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours.
No, don't do that. No. There's something I'm going to say here that maybe will shock the audience. I don't know. But in 2021, moving forward, streaming more and streaming gameplay is probably not going to make you succeed more. So in the gaming space, currently there are 10 million quarterly active streamers on Twitch. There are 1 million quarterly active streamers on YouTube, and there are 365,000 quarterly active streamers on Facebook gaming. So basically 12 million streamers you're competing against. And what are they all doing? 99% of them are playing video games and just streaming them playing a game. Guess what? Nobody cares anymore. Nobody cares about a dude playing a video game anymore. That's not novel anymore. That was novel 10 years ago when I got started. But today that's not novel and interesting anymore. And so for a lot of these creators that are just thinking they can play video games and stream it and make a living and get success, sorry, that doesn't cut it. What is the unique value that your live stream is going to provide audiences beyond just playing a video game? And so you need to be thinking of interesting challenges like eating ghost peppers or hot sauce or shaving your head or raising money for charity. What are you doing on top of playing video games that is going to make your stream more interesting? What are you doing from a production standpoint that's going to have you stand out? What are you doing from your own personal brand that's going to make you look different than just every other friggin' dude on Twitch? That's why characters like Dr. Disrespect succeed. He's a character that you can recognize that's very brandable. That's why creators like Code Miko, who has is a VTuber and literally has a virtual version of herself that is her avatar, is succeeding because what they're doing is unique, it's different, and it's taking some element of streaming to the next level. So the question all of the viewers that are watching right now need to ask themselves is, which element of streaming are you taking to the next level to make yourself stand out from the literally millions of freaking dudes that are streaming video games right now, and it's just them in the corner while there's gameplay on the screen? Because guess what? Nobody cares about you being in the corner with gameplay on the screen, and nobody cares about your personality either yet until you give them something unique and you give them a reason to care about you first. So nobody's just going to fall in love with you for no reason. You have to get their attention, you have to provide value, then they'll fall in love with you, and then you can build a community. So the stakes are much higher, the competition is much higher in 2021 moving forward. And those are the things that people using Restream or streaming on any platform need to be thinking about. It's not just picking the right game, it's not just having a good camera and a good microphone and then going live a lot. What is that unique value? Why should people click you versus literally 12 million other people? The analogy I like to use here is, I used to live in Manhattan. There's 12 million people in Manhattan. Okay, so you want to attract somebody's attention in Manhattan, and somebody's looking down bird's eye view on the city. Okay, and you want to get their attention. So if you're like every other dude on the street, just walking around, you're like, hey, do you think anybody's going to notice you from an airplane above Manhattan? No. So how are you going to get people's attention in that scenario? Shine a spotlight. Do something crazy. You have to do something huge and big to get people's attention. Something very different than everybody else. You have to do something very unique. You need to stand out versus 99,999 other streamers if you want to get big enough to go full time. That's what you guys need to be thinking about. You need to get creative. You need to experiment. And so instead of spending all of your time streaming a video game with a camera in the corner and thinking that's good enough, maybe stream half as much and spend the other half of your time preparing for the next stream, preparing something creative, coming up with an interesting bit or gimmick, doing something more valuable before the stream and setting something up that's truly interesting. That's going to pay dividends for everyone moving forward in 2021. Things have changed drastically. You can't just go live and grow anymore. That's just the way it is.
I feel like you perfectly answered my next question, which was, what sort of opportunities do you think gaming streamers are missing out and should start doing this year? And you nailed it right on the head, I think, as well. And from what I can see in chat, people are really agreeing with you and enjoying your response there. So I guess probably the next question that I would ask then would be, what's something specifically from 2020 during the pandemic that maybe gaming streamers started doing or streamers started doing in general because of the pandemic that they should keep in mind or continue doing into 2021, even after the pandemic is long but a distant bad memory?
Okay, that's good. I like that. We'll see how distant it is. Hopefully,
Yeah.
fingers crossed, it'll be very distant very soon. But what did they do in 2020? So let's look at what happened this last year. So the main thing that streamers did in 2020 is they flooded into streaming for the first time. So the number of streamers that were active on all of these platforms that you can restream to was something like 5 million or so quarterly active streamers pre-COVID, pre-quarantine in the US. Then that ballooned to closer to 10 to 12 million after the pandemic. And so what did all of them do? They all did the same thing. What I just mentioned a moment ago. Start playing video games and streaming it on the internet. And also, one other thing that you guys should keep in mind, when you survey young people, and there's been many surveys on this, between the ages of 8 to 12 years old, the number one career that young people want today, I think it's 29% of kids surveyed today, want to be a YouTuber or a live streamer or online influencer as their job. Not an astronaut anymore, not a lawyer, not a rock star, not a model, not any of those things. They want to be a streamer. So what does that tell all of you guys out there in the audience? The thing to learn from 2020 is that you have to go deeper. You can't just do what everyone else is doing. You need to go into a niche and then a niche of a niche if you want to break through in this space, because it's getting more and more crowded as each day passes. And so, in order to do that, you guys need to be thinking about not just going after the most popular topics, but going after topics that you're already an expert on. And this is something that some creators have been doing in 2020 that has been succeeding that I want to highlight for you guys. So, for example, if you lost your job in 2020, which tens of millions of people did, and let's say you're an expert on somebody in chat here, BKO, he's a cement expert. No joke. Like, he just does like cement as a part of his living. So part of talking to somebody like that, you can create content around the thing you're already an expert in order to gain an audience, instead of just trying to do what everyone else is doing. Because you already have this expertise. Everybody's an expert in something. And so if you create YouTube videos about that, if you do live streams of you maybe demoing that and talking about the thing you're an expert on, if you're a nurse talking about best practices of how to do first aid or how to do various medical things, if you're a construction worker teaching people DIY how to fix up stuff around your house, how to lay cement and fix cracks and potholes in your driveway, taking the things that you know that you're already an expert on and making content about that, that can help you build an audience in something unique that other people aren't going after as a gaming creator. You might be like, what are you talking about? Making concrete content to become a gaming creator? Yes. Ultimately, you need to get people's attention, and you need people that care about you. And once you get people's attention and they care about you, then you can send them over to your live stream and they'll just chat with you and they'll hang out with you and they'll just want to be with you because they already like you. So you have to figure out unique ways, given your expertise audience, to get people's attention. And that's not going to be just making guides and tips and tricks videos about video games. Because guess what? There's now hundreds of thousands of additional creators doing that stuff already too. So you need to think outside the box. If you're doing the same thing as everybody else as a gaming content creator, you aren't going to make it anymore because the competition keeps skyrocketing. That's the thing to learn from 2020. The second thing to learn from 2020 is Mixer shut down. And so a bunch of creators, I think it was 4.5 million creators, were on Mixer. It was the highest population streaming platform at the time. And then it shut down. So what's the second lesson you can learn? If you are exclusive to one platform, you are volatile. Your business is volatile. You are at risk. You're putting every bit of work you put into your live streams and building your avenues at risk by being exclusive to one platform. And so Mixer shut down, and all of the creators there were forced to try to evacuate to Facebook Gaming, evacuate to Twitch, go to YouTube, and try to rebuild their audiences. Well, I can tell you from experience as a ice cold corpo, whenever you try to transfer your audience from one platform to another, you generally get 10 to 20% of the audience to come over, 20% being best case scenario. That's devastating. That means that these Mixer streamers that lost their avenue on Mixer probably lost on average 90 to 80% of their audience, their engaged audience, by moving to another platform. You don't want to put yourself at risk like that. And that's a reason why multi-streaming makes sense. And being on multiple platforms makes sense, because that is your freedom as a content creator. That is your power as a content creator, is by having your content on every platform on planet Earth. That is the beauty of social media and the power of distribution. So that's the second lesson to learn from this year. If anybody told you right before Mixer, a couple months before that Mixer would just disappear, they would have told you that you're crazy. I predicted that Mixer would be going out of business at some point in the future, not that fast, but at some point in the future if things didn't improve. Suddenly, something could just go away. These companies could lose their investment. Your channel could be copyright struck into oblivion. You could get DMCA'd. You could get some unfair community strikes. You could get hacked. Any number of things could happen to your channels on different platforms. So if you're exclusive to one or even just two, you're at risk. I recommend diversifying as much as possible. That's the second lesson to learn from 2020.
You mentioned earlier your kind of your rocky story, if you will, of you climbing the stairs and going from your previous job to kind of throwing it all on the line and making an income from this and getting into this industry and that kind of stuff. And it makes me wonder, what exactly, or what kind of advice would you give to a gaming streamer who's just starting out, and they're really looking to make an income from their gaming streams, or at least some kind of additional income to supplement their current income, or maybe they're looking to kind of dive in head first, which, as we mentioned earlier, it's probably not a good idea.
Yeah, I don't know. Some people don't have a choice.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Diving in head first with way less income than you need is pretty high risk. So here are some things to consider to make more money as a gaming content creator. So number one, I would encourage folks out there to try to get revenue streams where there's not a middleman taking a significant portion of the revenue from you. So what I mean by that is Twitch takes 50% of your money from things like Twitch subs, and they take 30%, I believe, from Twitch bits. Yikes. Twitch, we love you. We love Twitch. 50%? Come on. YouTube takes 55% of revenue all from ads. But when it comes to things like super chats, and when it comes to things like channel memberships, they take 30% of your revenue. We love you, YouTube, but come on. And Facebook Gaming, they took 0% a bit ago, but now they're taking a much higher percentage. They're probably going to settle on 30% as well. So let's do some math. Would you like to have something like 95% plus of the money that people are trying to donate to you and tip you? Or would you like to only have 50% of it? If somebody gives you $1,000, would you like to have 500 of it, or would you like to have 950 of it? So the reason why I'm saying that is I encourage all of you guys out there to look at opening up monetization methods for your gaming live streams that are not completely dependent on these platforms and having this middleman take a giant chunk of your money. I'm talking about direct donations. I'm talking about Patreon. Patreon gives you 90% of the revenue. In direct donations, you get about 97.5 to 97.5% of your own revenue that people give you. Patreon gives you 90%. And then you also need to be considering other monetization methods like Amazon Associates and other affiliate programs where you can make a commission off of recommending products, and there's no middleman taking that money from you there. And sponsorships, of course, where the money goes directly into your pocket, especially if you negotiate with the sponsor directly. Those four monetization methods, direct donations, Patreon, sponsorships, as well as affiliate revenue and commissions, put the control in your hands for you to make the maximum amount of money possible and not having a middleman take a portion. And you can use all four of those methods on every platform. So if you guys are restreaming to Periscope, to Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, etc., you can put a direct donation link that works across all of them. Patreon works across all of them. Amazon Associates works across all of them. Affiliate revenue works across all of them. Sponsorships work across all of them. And so if you focus on those sorts of monetization methods, it doesn't matter where social media goes and the internet goes in the future, those sorts of methods work across all platforms. And so that can really help you grow your revenue faster across multiple social media platforms. So you can take every viewer that you have everywhere and monetize them as much as possible.
And one of the things you mentioned there was affiliate links and that kind of stuff. One of the main ways I know of affiliate links is through the Amazon. For those of you who don't know, Andrew does stream quite often, multiple times a day, some days. And he goes on about how to improve your stream and improve your stuff. And recently you did one about your Amazon affiliate links where you're kind of talking about how much extra money you earn from affiliate links, even if it's not something that you're directly selling. If it's just like, oh, this is part of my hardware setup, and you link people to your oh, this is my setup, here's my wish list, and that's kind of like everything there. And if they order from that, you get the revenue from there as well.
That's right. That's right. So you don't have to create your own products to make a sales commission recommending products. There's a bunch of different affiliate programs out there too. So, I mean, Randy, can you think of anything that is for sale on Amazon that some of our viewers may be able to recommend? Are there any products you could think of that are available on this Amazon platform?
I think a couple thousand. I think I have maybe 5 or 6 wish lists filled with stuff that I might be able to sell.
Right.
Like
So,
this, they just pull up some.
right, like this, like literally that microphone you're using, or the decor you're using, or the LEDs, what have you. Those are that are behind you, right? Literally everything is for sale on Amazon. And so if you're using equipment, if you're using a keyboard, if you're using a mouse, gaming creators, do you play video games? Do you have a console? Do you have a PC? Do you have a graphics card? If you have any of those things, you can recommend those things that you enjoy and you use using Amazon Associates, Amazon affiliate links, and you can make a commission off of any sales that occur when people buy products on Amazon. 4%-ish currently through for technology products. So let's say you're covering a video game, let's say The Division 2. Well, any Division 2 videos you make, you could link to the PlayStation, the Xbox, the PC versions of that game below. And you can tell your audience, look, if you guys haven't picked up the Division 2 yet, be sure to use my affiliate links below. I get a small commission if you buy it using my link, and you pay the same price. That can end up adding up into more supplementary passive income. Passive income is what you want. You want your YouTube channel, you want your streams to just be making money as you're doing your normal business. Last year, I'm not a big creator at all, really, right now. I only get a couple 100,000 views per month on YouTube on my main channel, and I made $25,000 in commissions off of Amazon Associates. I showed everybody in that stream you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's big money with a relatively small audience because I was recommending products and I was saving people time. The good thing about doing affiliate marketing as a content creator is maybe you've tried out a bunch of different mouse and keyboard. Maybe you've tried out a bunch of different webcams. Maybe you've played a bunch of different games. Maybe you've tried a bunch of controller accessories, and you finally figured out what the good one is. You recommend the good one to people, you show it to them, you talk about it, they can tell you actually like it, they will buy it. Because you saved the value you provided as a content creator, as a gaming content creator, is you saved them time. They didn't have to Google. They didn't have to watch 5 top 10 videos. They saw that you used it, you're showing yourself using it, you're genuinely recommending it, and you saved them time to buy the product that they wanted. That's the power of affiliate marketing. It's not just on Amazon. Restream has an affiliate program. Other softwares have an affiliate program. There's all sorts of companies that want you to help them sell their products and services through an affiliate program because it benefits those companies, and it's a mutually beneficial relationship.
So I feel like this is a great point to just kind of bring it back around for those who are just joining us now and kind of reintroduce what we're doing here today. So for anyone joining us now, our guest today is Andrew Wall. He's a former social media executive that now coaches gaming content creators to success. He co-founded the #1 creator network for gamers of all time, known as TGN, which generates billions of views per month on YouTube and is now a publicly traded company. Remember, this show is live on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch all at the same time using the power of Restream, which makes it easier than ever to set up your stream, go to multiple platforms, and without any complicated setup or additional server needed on the back end. So
it does do that. I use it twice a day. It does do that.
And it's super easy. Even today, I just click go live and boom, we've got all these people who are in our chat, and using Restream Studio, we can even bring up some of the comments. For example, BKO live stream has been super active, is giving you some tips here on what you can recommend as your affiliate if you're a carpenter or if you're a nurse, or there's products in your life today that you're using that are available on Amazon that you could recommend that you may not even realize.
Endo's doing a comment there. So we got a DJ in chat right now. He's saying, so he's a DJ, he's making content on the internet, and he's like, could I make affiliate revenue as a live streamer or a content creator by recommending these DJ products? So yeah, Amazon is just one example of a place that you can do affiliate marketing. You could potentially, contact the manufacturers of products you love, and a lot of them already have referral or affiliate programs set up. And you can just apply and sign up for them, and they'll give you a commish for recommending their products. So I would recommend exploring, I would recommend looking up all your favorite products right now, everybody who's watching, and see if they have an affiliate or referral program that you could integrate into your content strategy. You want as much passive income just showing up in your PayPal account every month as possible. so that you can build that monthly income up so that that pays your rent, that pays your food, that pays your cell phone and pays your internet. And you start to have a lot more stability financially so that you can go full time as a gaming content creator. The more stability you can have financially, the more freedom you can have creatively.
Yeah. I remember you mentioned in that video that you made about affiliate marketing, how you had a video that you made a couple months ago, or maybe it was even a year ago, where the second you released it, it was like a review on webcams, and it didn't really get any traction. And then after a couple of months, suddenly out of nowhere, it got reviewed or picked up somewhere, and suddenly it jumped up to like 100,000 viewers. So you really never know
Yeah.
when people are going to suddenly find your content, especially with the way that algorithms are now. So make what you can when you can, and it can come back and help you. So that kind of drives me into my next question here. We mentioned a bit about Restream and multi-streaming. So what are your thoughts around platform exclusivity and the contracts that some platforms are having their creators sign? And how do you think it affects that streamer's growth in general?
Yeah, so I mean, this is probably one of the reasons why Restream decided to sponsor me a bit ago, and why I contacted Restream. So full disclosure, Restream sponsors my podcasts, and I used Restream for like over a year and a half before they ended up sponsoring me, because I have, by the numbers, discovered that when you're exclusive on platforms, they take advantage of you. And so as a marketer, if you look at the biggest brands out there, it's going to be a little bit of a tangent, but trust me, I'm going to get to the point. If you look at the biggest brands out there, you love tangents. Perfect. If you look at the biggest brands out there, Coca-Cola, Nike, the big ones, right? That run these big, huge marketing campaigns. They run their advertisements. They release their content on every platform. You see that inspiring Nike video, with the person, who's poor and then made it to the Olympics. The person who's in a wheelchair, but now is getting a gold medal. The person who, has one arm but now is lifting weights like a boss. They run those campaigns on Twitter, on Facebook, on Twitch, on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, on everywhere, on TV. They even still put it in magazines, on billboards, these inspirational campaigns. They put them everywhere. Why would Nike try to inspire people on every platform? Because they get more attention and more business that way. Why, they don't release those videos just on one platform and say, well, job's done. This amazing video we made about inspiring stories of people growing and making it, we'll just release it on Twitter because it's a bad idea to release it elsewhere. No, they release those campaigns everywhere in the entire world that they can, because they can get more attention, more eyeballs, more growth, and more business. And so marketing executives know, and marketing professionals know, that the more platforms you can be on, and especially the more platforms you can be on and get free traction, organic traction, sharing and viral traction, word of mouth, the better. And so exclusivity just on its own as a concept in marketing is a bad idea. The only time that exclusivity makes sense, in my opinion, is if a platform is paying you cash to be exclusive on their platform. And so if, for example, Twitch comes to you guys tomorrow and Twitch offers you the amount of money you need to go full-time as a gaming content creator, and so you can go back and talk to your family and say, look, I got the bills paid and I can do what I love. You know what? Take the deal. Go become exclusive on Twitch and get that cash in the bank from Twitch. But if they're not offering you cash to be exclusive, then you are putting your entire career as a gaming content creator at risk. You are decreasing your growth. You are decreasing your revenue. You're decreasing your potential moving forward. And God forbid, what if something happens to that platform? We just talked about Mixer. 4.5 million people thought Mixer was a good idea. Bye-bye, Mixer. I'll pour one out for you, homie, but you're gone. And that was Microsoft, one of the most valuable companies in the entire world, backing that platform. That's a company that dropped $70 million estimated on talent just a few months before with Ninja and Shroud. That's a company that was just about to launch the new generation of Xbox consoles, and they shut that entire live streaming platform down like that without even thinking twice. So do you want your entire gaming content career to potentially go away with the drop of a hat? No, exclusivity agreements don't make sense. Last example in this rant on exclusivity. Joe Rogan is an example of a content creator that went exclusive recently. He went exclusive to Spotify. He was one of the biggest YouTube channels, and he was huge on social media. And so I did some research after he went exclusive on Spotify. He got $100 million. So good job, Joe Rogan. He got $100 million to go exclusive on Spotify. And I looked at web search, and I was looking to see, after he went exclusive, did that have any impact on how relevant Joe Rogan is as a personality? So I went and took a look at Google Trends. In 1 month, he got 40% less searches related to Joe Rogan in 1 month. And so I estimate, because he went exclusive on one platform, he will literally decimate his audience. Of being the #1 podcaster in the entire world, he will literally reduce his audience down to 1/10 of what it used to be, because he decided to go on one platform rather than being on all platforms. It's just a numbers game. So I don't like exclusivity unless you're getting a big paycheck. And if you are getting a big paycheck, know that you're getting money in exchange for relevance and in exchange for future growth opportunities. You're taking a short-term gain and exchanging that for long-term opportunities. And if you guys want to be in this for the long term, exclusivity probably doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I completely agree with almost everything you said there, especially the not switching over to exclusivity unless you're getting a big paycheck. Ninja, I think Shroud, but don't quote me on that, and Joe Rogan. These are all people who switched over and got hundreds, if not hundreds of millions of dollars to do the switch. And then when Mixer closed down and they had to switch back to Twitch, they got their whole contract paid out, because most of those contracts were like, if you stream for 5 years, you'll get this much amount of money. But once Mixer shut down, it's like, okay, you get all the money now, bye. So I guess kind of relating that to popular streamers and streamers who are front lines and getting a lot of viewers, what essential piece of equipment do they have, or an essential piece of equipment that you think a new streamer should invest in, and like what would that be and why?
A new streamer, right. Okay, so I think that the most important element of a live stream is audio, and so what you guys are going to want to look at when it comes to content, or when it comes to shopping, is you are going to want to select the correct microphone for your particular situation. I think it's the #1 most important thing. And so, for example, if you guys have a very echoey space that's not acoustically treated and has like lots of slapback on the audio in your room and what have you, you're going to want to purchase a dynamic microphone, like the one I'm using right here. And dynamic microphones just capture the audio that's right in front of the microphone. That'll help reduce echo. If you have an acoustically treated space, then you can consider other microphone types like cardioid or condenser mic, or cardioid particular, like Blue Yetis and stuff like that. That will pick up a wider range of audio in a wider cone, but you don't have to worry about echo and slapback and different bad audio scenarios in your room as much. Getting a good microphone is the #1 purchase, and dynamic microphones are going to make sense for most gaming content creators. You have one right now. I have one right now. And it also helps if you're gaming, right? If you're clickety-clacking on that controller, you want to eliminate as much of that noise as possible, right? If you're typing on that keyboard, your audience doesn't want to hear that. They don't want to hear you clicking on the mouse. Dynamic microphones help eliminate the room noise. And so there's a couple that I recommend on my channel. I don't want to plug products, like it's Restream right now and you guys don't make hardware, but dynamic microphones is the category that I would recommend going out and doing an initial purchase on. And then as a follow-up purchase, a lot of content creators think that they need to go buy a very expensive camera. Often, you don't need to significantly improve your quality. So lighting is going to have a much higher, bigger impact on your video quality than getting a upgraded camera a lot of the time. You can buy something like a $70 LED light or a $59.99 ring light, and turning that on with your entry-level webcam, that can take your video from a 3 out of 10 to like a 5 or 6 out of 10 sometimes, just by getting a decent piece of lighting and working on tweaking that in. So I'd say dynamic microphone #1, and then decent lighting #2, and then I could talk for an entire podcast about the rest.
Yeah. And I completely agree with the lighting. Just to give out, I actually have things to say about both those things. For the microphone bit, I typed a message into chat just to respond to somebody who mentioned about my quality. Nobody heard me typing it because of the microphone I have. And this is what my stream would look like if I chose not to have any lighting on.
Oh.
It's not great. It's just I'm really using the monitor light at that moment, and then it just
Mhm.
kind of like makes me very shiny for a moment. That's because my room's getting warm with all these lights on that I have. So
I
that
like
kind
how
of
shiny you are.
well, thanks. That kind of brings me into the next question, because you mentioned how these like having a microphone where you're not going to be hearing the clicking, and having a light where we can properly see what's going on, and the content looks better, especially because cameras just work better with more light.
Yeah.
What are some key ways you've found in growing your audience? It's probably not going to be super related to the equipment you have and more your personality, but I'd just love to hear your kind of opinions on growing an audience and cultivating that and making sure they come back.
Got it. That makes sense. So, I mean, this is a like huge question. We could do an
Yeah.
entire podcast just about this one. But here's a couple key things that I emphasize more often than not. So, as a live streamer, you want to be live streaming on every platform, especially when you're starting. And I know it might sound like AWOL shill over here on the Restream podcast talking about multi-streaming. From personal experience, my streaming audience has doubled, tripled, and quadrupled because I stream to all of my followers everywhere. That's just my personal experience. And as you're trying to figure out which games work on which platforms, you can restream to multiple platforms, and you may be surprised to find that the game you love actually gets traction, for example, on Facebook gaming, and you kind of wrote off Facebook gaming. So, for example, one of my co-hosts on the Digital Drop podcast, Ashrel, he is streaming Mobile Legends. He was not a mobile gamer before this. He's streaming Mobile Legends. And out of nowhere, because he was restreaming, he not only streamed on his partner Twitch channel, but he also streamed on other platforms like Facebook gaming. He ended up blowing up to getting hundreds of concurrent viewers out of nowhere on Facebook gaming because he restreamed there. So you can test different games and test different topics and test different content types across multiple platforms and see where the traction is. That's my number one piece of advice for the streaming side. But I would say even more than the streaming side, the biggest thing that you can do as a gaming content creator is build a YouTube channel, maybe multiple YouTube channels. YouTube is still the ultimate content creator platform. There are 40 million active gaming content creators on YouTube, and the platform's still growing exponentially, and there's still an opportunity for all of you guys to build your channels on YouTube today. YouTube, if you build a big YouTube channel or you build a successful YouTube channel using things like YouTube search initially, creating content that solves people's problems, like how to find that, or like how to get how to install that mod, how to improve your aim, how to get a better win rate, how to do these various very specific things in video games. You can make tips content, guides content on very specific niche topics and grow pretty quickly on YouTube. And what you do with that strategy, streamers, listen to this. You create that guide, you create that tips content, and then you have one call to action in the video. And you tell people, and if you want to watch me live every Thursday, Friday, whatever you stream, link in the description below to my Twitch, or link in the description below to your main streaming avenue, and come ask me any questions you have about this game there live. I'm happy to answer them. So now your YouTube channel is getting all this traction from YouTube search, all this traction from Google search, and is now driving all of that traffic for one singular focus, which is more concurrent viewers for your live stream. Combining those two things together, those two strategies, streaming everywhere, and then building a YouTube channel with only one call to action to go watch you live, is the ultimate gaming content creator streamer strategy, just the baseline in 2021, especially for new streamers and growing streamers. And let me emphasize another point here. When you make a YouTube video, don't tell people, be sure to like and subscribe and smash that bell. And also leave a comment below and blah, 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 blah. There is marketing evidence that shows that the more things you ask a human being to do, the less likely they are to do anything. There have been scientific studies by universities where they take people into grocery stores. Person A is offered two options of food on the table, an apple or an orange. 90% of people pick one. Person B is offered 10 options, every type of fruit you could imagine on the table. Only 50% of people choose any fruit because there's too many options. It's human nature. The less options you give people, the more likely they are to do something. And so only give your YouTube viewers one option, which is go follow you on Twitch, go follow you on Facebook Gaming, go follow you on wherever you're live streaming, and come watch you there and ask you more questions. And they will be far more likely to click and then be converted into a concurrent viewer for your gaming live streams. Those are the two things to focus on in 2021. Searchable content on YouTube, driving traffic over to your live stream, and you're restreaming there. Do those two things this year, and you are going to maximize your probability of growth.
I find that's a perfect point in mentioning having multiple YouTube channels for your content, like having one YouTube channel where you kind of upload your actual videos that you spend time on just that video, and then having possibly another YouTube channel that's just a clips channel for even just sharing your live streams. I can't even count how many times I've been on YouTube and I've watched a video that was only 2 minutes long from somebody's stream, and I look down and the name of the channel is that person's name, clips. And it's like, those just constantly grow because YouTube loves throwing 2-minute videos at people to kind of transition them to the next video that they're going to watch. We've gone through almost all my questions. The only question I have left, I will save until after we answer some audience questions, because it's not, you know what it is. It's not so super about what we're talking about, but it is about gaming. So I've noticed some really great comments here. I'm going to throw them up on.
Bring them on, audience. Hit us with your questions.
So this is from Endo. Do you recommend scheduling streams before you go live and doing some pre-promo, or do you just go live unannounced?
It depends on the content. So for content that requires a lot of pre-planning, like this one, for example. So for example, you had to book me. You had to come up with the questions ahead of time. You had to set up that you were streaming on multiple platforms. You had a custom graphics package that you have for the show, right? Like there's a lot of pre-planning you had to do this stream, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
So it makes sense for you to schedule this as an event so that you can then promote this thing that required a lot of pre-planning. That makes sense in those scenarios. So if you're doing a special event, creators out there that are watching, I would do something similar to what Restream did today. Schedule the YouTube event, schedule out the content, do pre-promos, because you want to get all the yield you can out of that special event. I mean, would you say that's fair to say?
Oh, definitely. And even just having it live gives you that link that you can then share on Twitter. You can share through an email blast. We have, I think, I'm not going to give out the numbers, but we have lots of people who are subscribed to our email list. And we send out an email push to them on Monday where it's like, hey, we're going live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Here are all the links. Click remind me kind of thing.
Makes sense. That makes sense. So the unannounced live streams, the best way to get yield out of those is obviously to stream at set times on a weekly basis, or on a, within a certain schedule, obviously. So, and sticking to it as much as you possibly can. And so create a conservative schedule for the unannounced streams. So as a DJ, I know you're a DJ. He's one of my coaching clients, but as a DJ, maybe every Friday night at whatever time, you're going to be dropping all the sickest beats and remixes and whatever. And so you are always going live at that time. And so you don't need to schedule that as an event necessarily. You can just go live at that time, and viewers will be used to showing up for that same kind of content. That's what I would do for unannounced. I think just randomly going live with some sort of not special content at random times on your avenues is probably the lowest yield way to live stream because you're going to be capturing a different audience. So especially on platforms like YouTube and Facebook, whose algorithms are you're depending on them to suggest the content to them through mobile devices primarily. Somebody who can watch your live stream at night probably isn't going to be available in the middle of the day. Maybe they're at work, maybe they're at school, maybe they're taking care of their kids, maybe etc. So you won't be able to reach your normal viewers that way. And so creating a schedule can help you mitigate that and can help you do the unannounced streams. Those are the two methods: scheduled events with lots of pre-planning, or having a schedule for unannounced streams at set times. And that's it. Just randomly going live in the middle of the day, that's cool. You guys can experiment with new times, new content, new formats. Feel free to experiment, but consider it just an experiment, not a longer term strategy.
And are you okay with us answering maybe 2 more questions from the chat?
Yeah, hit me with it. I got it. Yeah, I could stick around for a little bit.
Okay, perfect. Just because I saw, I was only going to pick one more, but they're just such good questions that I can't just pick one. So The first one we got here is from Flying Walrus, and I don't think that the full chat is going to fit on the screen, so I'm going to read it out and then I'm going to place it on the screen just so because I can't see it once I put it on the screen.
Okay.
Do you feel that restreaming to multiple platforms fragments or divides your community? Example, if you have one person that talks on Twitch, like a single viewer on YouTube, can't interact with that person and may be left out. So
yeah, this is a common misconception about restreaming. So the answer to that is no, that is not true. And anyone who is telling you that is true does not have professional marketing experience. They probably have just been a creator and have been doing it for a little bit. And they look at the most popular streamers that made it 8 years ago and are now very popular. And they're like, that's the only way to be successful. So that's that. So the bottom line is that Restream in particular has a chat relay feature. So the Restream bot will take Twitch chat, post it in YouTube. It'll take YouTube chat, post it in Twitch, so that you can see the comments from every platform on every platform. Also, as a streamer, one thing that you could do is read out the platform that the person who asked you the question was on out loud to help provide context to everybody else on what's going on. So, for example, if I was addressing Endo's question, I'd be like, Endo from YouTube, blah, 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 blah. And then somebody on Periscope might say something and I'd be like, Tice on Twitter asks, yada, yada, yada. Providing that context and doing chat relay eliminates that issue. And then the whole fragmented audience issue, no. That's what old school, old media TV people think. That's not the way the internet works. You get maximum viewership by getting maximum eyeballs across multiple platforms. I provided examples earlier in this particular stream about how Nike and Coca-Cola and all the top brands release their same marketing campaigns everywhere, not one place. Coca-Cola's executives aren't going, you know what? We spent $1.5 million making that ad. You know what? I think we may fragment our audience by releasing it on more places than just Twitter. Right, guys? Anybody that agreed with that in the boardroom should be fired. Good marketers, professional marketers, people with experience in marketing, growing companies at scale. I've grown companies at scale to getting millions and billions of views per month. Know that multiple platform strategies are how you grow and how you scale up as a business. So no, the whole fragmentation, the whole degrading your brand. Yes, Coca-Cola's brand degraded. Is Nike's brand degraded because they're on Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch? No. So that's a myth. And anybody who tells you that, I would think twice about taking their advice.
Great response to that. And the final question I see is kind of going back to what we were talking about right at the beginning of the show about gaming and streaming. Or I'll just read it out. How do you suggest striking a balance between streaming games you actually like to play versus streaming games that are popular?
That one's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it depends on what you want streaming to be in your life. So if you're looking at the games that you could potentially get audience off of, and there's a list of like maybe 40 total, probably something like 40, maybe 50 total if we're being generous. If you're looking at all 50 of the most popular games on Twitch, Facebook Gaming, and YouTube in particular, you can start to look at DLive now if you want. And you don't like any of them, then you need to go ahead and realize that live streaming video games is going to just be a hobby for you, or at best, side hustle income. At best. Because the bottom line is, if you can't scale up your audience to at least some meaningful level, it's going to be extremely difficult to make an entire business out of it. Just strictly doing gaming content creation. And that's just the bottom line. If the total pool of eyeballs is super tiny, even if you get a large portion of it, that still probably won't be enough potential customers and potential donators and potential patrons and potential eyeballs to monetize through sponsorships for you to make it. And that's okay. It's okay if it's just a hobby. It's okay if it's just a side hustle. But you just have to realize that's the decision you're making. And the other part of things is this. You can stream games that you love with part of your life and part of your work from home strategy while making money doing other things that are more popular and more viable. So for example, if you love some niche game that nobody else likes and you want to stream it just because you love it, do that like 2 to 3 hours a day. and spend the rest of your day doing things on the internet that make money. Maybe making content about the finance sector. Maybe you're an expert on that. Making content around whatever you're an expert on and building a business around that during the day. And then at night or whenever you want, you stream 2 to 3 hours per day, that video game you love, and then you're fulfilled creatively and you're doing something you love while also making money doing something else in the work from home space you're living in now to supplement that. That's also a viable strategy. But no, I'm not going to tell you that there's some magic way to play unpopular games that nobody cares about and make a living off of it. Sorry, it's just not possible.
Makes sense. So yeah, honestly, today's been a great show. I feel like we've gotten like tons of amazing content from here, and we're going to be repurposing this and throwing it on our social channels, and which is exactly what you should be doing if you're looking to get into streaming, or if you're streaming already. Repurposing your streams. When you hit, finish stream, you stop the stream. That isn't the end of your stream. That's the beginning of your workday. You should get into repurposing right from there. So I think that this is probably the best time, now that we're at the end of the show, to give you kind of a chance to talk about what things you have going on in your space, what you're doing day to day, kind of anything you want to promote to our audience, basically.
Sure. I'll keep it short because it's really simple. So people can, if you want to book me for content creator coaching, go to my website, awaldigital.com. You can just go to my site, you click the schedule button, and you can schedule a one-on-one meeting with me, and I can coach you on how to be more successful as a gaming content creator. That's the main thing I'm doing from a consulting capacity. It's just going to awaldigital.com, schedule me. You could pick your day, pick your time, and you just book me right there. There's no back and forth. You just literally book me for a call, and I'll help you out. Outside of that, I'm doing all these podcasts you mentioned, YouTube videos. Really, just book me for coaching if you want on my website. That's the most simple way to get a hold of me.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for sitting down with me today and answering all of our questions. I know we went a little bit over time, but I appreciate you kind of hanging in there, and your answers were beyond perfect. So I know that.
Wow.
I can see from the chat that.
Thank you.
Amazing stream. It was so worth it to watch the whole thing. All these comments flowing in. So thanks so much for joining us. I'm going to toggle you off here and kind of do the outro. But if you want to stick around backstage, we can talk a bit after, or we can chat over email, or anything that works for you.
I'll hang out and have a drink in the green room. I'll see you over there.
All right. Perfect. See ya. All right. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us today. We had such a great conversation with Andrew. For anyone looking to reach out to us, you can do that right on our website at Restream.io. Where you can talk to our live chat 24/7. You can access us on social media at twitter.com/restream.io. And if you're looking to listen to this podcast instead of watching it live, you can find us on anchor.fm/nextingaming. That should be posted tonight within the next 5 to 6 hours. All depends on editing, uploading, and that kind of stuff. But thanks again so much for checking us out. We don't have an outro yet, but I promise for our next episode, we will have an outro. This show is bi-weekly, so we won't be live next Friday, but we'll be live the Friday after that. Anyway, thanks again so much for watching, and have a great night.